And this is the global forecast for July 2024, brought to you by the wonderful people at AskTheAnswer.com, the UK's leading website for tarot readers, psychics, mystics and channelers. There's been a lot of shifting about in the last few weeks. Pluto is about to retrograde back into Capricorn. This will happen in a couple of months' time. In the last couple of days, at the very end of June, Saturn has stood still and started going retrograde in mid-late Pisces. On the 2nd of July, Neptune will stand still and go retrograde at the very, very end of Pisces. So for many people, this marks a time where much of the actions of 2024 begin to slow down, to be replaced instead by a time of reassessment, reevaluation and retrospect. Jupiter, meantime, is boogieing through Gemini, full speed ahead. And he's not really challenging anyone. He's just getting on with his own stuff. Nice enough. The inner planets, Mercury and Venus, spend most of this month in Leo. They both start the month in Cancer. Mercury will end the month in Virgo before it goes retrograde in early August of next year. So there is a Mercury retrograde coming up in early August through to late Leo of this month and next month, but not in a way that's going to cause major problems for most people. The new moon on the 5th of July at, I think it's at 14 degrees of Cancer is lovely. It's working in a very healthy way. It's a great time for new, fresh starts. But the full moon on the 21st of July and in Capricorn is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. This is going to be very strongly conjunct Pluto, even though Pluto will be in a different sign. It's only going to be about 1.5 degrees away from the full moon. So for many, many people, those people who have been affected by Pluto over this last year or two, I suggest that the coming full moon in Capricorn on the 21st of July is a symbolic closure point, and some situations that have been dragging on for months, if not a year or two, are going to find themselves coming to an irrevocable end. And this is either going to be by actions on these people's parts, where they take action to resolve long-standing challenges. And if they don't, then the universe will take a hand and there will be actions made, and these people will end up reacting rather than acting. But even this is relatively tame compared to the big thing that's happening this month. Mars is now halfway at the start of this month through Taurus. And on the 20th, 21st of this month, it will move into Gemini. Fine. But before that, there'll be a Mars-Uranus conjunction. This will happen precisely at 25 and 26 degrees of Taurus, and it will specifically happen over the period of the 13th through to the 16th, 17th of July. And I believe this is happening at the same time as a large political convention in America. I believe it's the Republican Convention. And it is particularly happening in a very challenging way to the horoscope of Donald Trump. So I do expect significant developments in quite a unexpected, radical and potentially explosive way. And I don't think in this particular instance I mean explosive in terms of physical explosions. But I mean, one or two people might lose their cool, and one or two people will have steam coming out of their ears, this type of thing. And I do suspect there'll be some rather sudden and radical changes of course on the part of a number of people, probably in America, as we get into that middle 4 or 5 days of May. For all of us, it's a very unpredictable and volatile time where the nature of Taurus will encourage us to try and hang on to the values we've established in recent years, whereas the nature of Mars and Uranus is going to encourage us to develop into the future in a way that's proactive. So there's going to be a bit of push and pull between the forces of the past and the forces of the future. And this could result in some type of metaphorical volcanic eruption around this time. And of course, it might not be metaphorical. It might be physical. So whilst that period of the 13th to the 17th is the volatile time of July, and immediately following it, Mars will move into Gemini on the day of the full moon, conjunct Pluto. So that period from, say, the 10th, 11th to the 21st of July, it's going to be a bit feisty. In fact, more than a bit. If the planet were one person and that person were my client, I'd be saying, look, most of July, fine. But that middle 10 days, stay low, keep your head below the radar screen and keep your powder dry. Have a observant month. Catch you later.